How far did you get with your education?
I graduated college last December. Got my bachelor's degree in financial planning, so made it pretty far.
And for time reference, it's August 2021 now.
Mm-hmm.
You graduated, it sounds like, in 2020.
Yep, December 2020.
Now, what schools did you attend growing up? Elementary, middle, high school, the
So,
whole thing there.
so I'm from a county called Effingham County, and they got Effingham and they got South Effingham, elementary, middle, and high, and I went to South. So that's where I actually started rapping at in 10th
Mem-
grade.
okay, 10th grade. And these were all public or private schools?
Public schools, high school's got about 1,100, 1,200 kids in it.
Now, speaking of kids, what kind of kid were you in class, generally speaking?
Uh, I was a good student, but I was always cutting up. I was I liked creative stuff though. I always liked English class, writing. Whenever we did like the poetry segments, I always loved that. So I was good, but my teachers, I gave them hell a little bit.
What did the cutting up stem from?
I like to make people laugh. I just like to put myself out there. I'm a pretty social dude, so you know, I just clown around a little bit.
Were you considered a class clown?
I wouldn't say the class clown, but I always could make people laugh. So I wouldn't be bad necessarily sometimes, but you know,
When it came to cutting up, did it ever lead to bullying for you? Were you a bully at one
mm,
point?
no, never.
Now, were you part of a certain crowd when you were in school?
Uh, I had my homies, but I would say we were pretty good to everyone. Like you said, like you were asking about the bullying, we always kind of stuck our neck out for kids who, maybe weren't as out there. If we didn't really stand up for anyone being a dick to anyone else. That's not right. Like we there to go to school. We're not there to put people down.
Did anyone attend any of your schools end up becoming well known or famous themselves?
Uh, we we're a big sports county. We got big baseball players. A guy named Josh Reddick. He was on the World Series team a couple years ago with the Astros. And there's another pitcher from our school who plays in the majors right now. Those are probably the biggest names come out of Effingham.
Did you have relationships with any of those?
I played baseball, so I knew him, but I didn't have personal relationships. Nah.
They were different grades than you?
Yeah. They're a good bit older than me. Like I wasn't even in high school whenever they were. I was in middle school.
Now, we'll talk about sports here in a second, but let's talk about music first. Did you ever take a music class in school?
Yeah, I started taking a chorus class in 8th grade, I think. My sister knew the chorus teacher. She's a couple years older than me, and he was a pretty cool dude. So it seemed like an easy class, but uh, it actually kind of helped me get to where I'm at today. So it started as something that I could do to, get that easy A, but it turned into something different, and here I am now.
And in what ways specifically could you shed some light that it's helped you when it comes to your music career?
Just always having that musical background, like yeah, just knowing some of the technical terms. Like I'm nowhere near a master of classical music or reading sheet music or whatever, but it always helps to have that little bit of background when you're talking to people like producers or someone who is gonna have that knowledge a little more than you.
Could you have gotten to where you're at musically at this point without these classes, though?
I don't think so. I don't think I would have had that interest or that background because even though we were singing like choir songs, it always helps to build on top of that. So
How many years did you take chorus for?
I started in 8th grade and I took it all the way through high school. So 5 years.
And what vocal position?
I started out as a little tenor, and I moved to bass after I turned 16. Started getting a little facial hair, you know what I'm saying? The voice got a little deeper.
Were you ever teased for being in chorus?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But I mean, I didn't let it get to me. Just like nowadays, you know, everybody talks about, you know, when are you going to start doing a real job? When are you going to stop that rap and stuff? Like, I don't let it get to me. It actually helped me in that way. So it's crazy how life works.
When it comes to chorus, did you guys compete in regional, state, national competitions by any chance?
Yeah, we did. We would go around to different schools and do competitions and stuff.
How far did you guys get?
Um, I hardly remember. Like we didn't ever get super far, but I mean we came in second or third place a couple times. Nothing crazy.
Now, you did chorus. Was there ever thought on joining the band?
I took a piano class senior year as like an elective, but I'm pretty ass. So no, instruments aren't really my forte. I'm good with the voice.
What drew you to the piano, though?
Yeah, the piano. I like classical music. As crazy as it sounds, I like jazz and a lot of stuff. I think piano is just a crazy instrument, and like the ladies love it. I feel like
Have you incorporated the piano or jazz into your music?
not yet, but I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
Were you ever the type that was freestyling or battle rapping other classmates?
Yeah, for sure. We used to. I actually got in trouble. I think it was like junior year. We had a couple battle raps after school, you know, before everyone went to the parking lot, and uh, you know, I usually won them, but some of the teachers came up and heard us cussing, so we got sent to the office the next day. But I mean, it wasn't no big deal.
When it came to battle rapping, how do you win? Any advice there?
You just gotta have them bars. You gotta have them bars. We used to meet up with kids at football games from other schools, and it would always be me from our school, and then they would send other kids from their school who thought they could rap, but they really didn't want the smoke.
With these raps that you were spitting back then, were they raps that you already knew beforehand you were about to spit, or was it really off of the dome, spontaneously?
It would be pretty off the dome. I might have, you know, something for the last round, you know. I might have something in my pocket, usually relating to if it was kids from another school, then I would have something about their like mascot sometimes. But if it was other kids in the hallway, I was just going off the top.
Was any of this stuff caught on video?
There's a video somewhere. I'll have to find it. I hit a kid with a little trick, you know, whenever you point at someone's shirt and they look down and you do. Yeah, I hit him with that.
Did you have a song you were promoting back then by any chance?
I started out making like school motivation, not like motivation raps, but like fight songs kind of, but you know, raps. And I guess my real one was Chicken Parmesan. That was my first one. I dropped on SoundCloud like 10th, 11th grade.
What was the reaction back then to it?
I mean, honestly, it went crazy in Savannah. Like, there's kids to this day that still come up to me and talk to me about that I haven't seen in years.
How'd you get that song popular back then? What was the secret?
I don't even know. I just, it just went crazy. It was whenever SoundCloud was really popping. I mean, I'm talking before Lil Pump and X and all them got famous off SoundCloud. Like, it was just, that's when SoundCloud was the thing.
Now, was this just a simple post on SoundCloud, or did you pay
Yeah.
for advertising or promoting on SoundCloud? Was there any of that nature?
I didn't even know you could promote music till college. I just was posting stuff on there and posting raps, and it would just go around the schools because, I mean, kids everywhere knew that I rapped. So it just kind of, Savannah schools are really connected. So it just kind of got passed around from school to school.
Did any of the songs that you were creating when you were in school, for lack of a better term, the motivational songs, the fight songs, did they ever become the school's fight song for any sports or anything of that nature?
Almost, except we had a gym teacher who she wasn't really rocking with my vibe, and she vetoed it. Even though, I mean, everyone on the football team, all of them were like, "Come on, let's do it. We're trying to come out to the pep rally to this," and she shot me down hard. So, shout out Coach Morgan.
And for clarification, this wasn't the Chicken Parm song. This was a different
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, this was a different song. I don't really remember what I titled them because I did a couple for I probably did about 6 of those. So,
Did you participate in any talent shows growing up?
no, I don't think I did any talent shows. I did a couple plays, but never a talent show or anything like that.
When it came to sports, was it just baseball that you took serious back then?
Yeah, I played baseball. That was like my main passion growing up. Like I never thought that I would do music until I got later on in high school. Um, I mean, baseball since I was 4 or 5 years old. I've been going hard. Was taking lessons every day after school and stuff like that. And then just, I mean, I'm a short white kid. I just couldn't compete with some of those kids who are 6'5". It's tough.
How far did you get with baseball?
I only ever played JV, and then my junior year, I went to try out, and the coaches said, we love you, but you can ride the bench if you want, but if you don't feel like riding the bench, we'll cut you. And I just said, cut me. I don't want to ride no bench.
Now, you did mention ladies in this interview. What age were you when you lost your virginity?
Man, I was 17 years old, so not early by any means. I was a good kid growing up. I, I got corrupted around 16 though.
And you were still in high school at the time?
Yeah, I was a junior in high school. It was like the day after Halloween, junior year. It was lit.
How did it happen? Take us back
I,
to that moment if you can.
I had a girlfriend, and I mean she is bad, but we it was just Halloween, and it just ended up happening. But I was at a homie's house, and all my homies were, I guess, standing outside the door or something. Because as soon as I was done, they just ran in and dogpiled me, and I was like, "Bro, y'all gotta get out of here!" But they were just clapping my back, just like, "Whoa!" Just going crazy, just cheering me on. It was a weird, really weird way to, I don't know. It was a very group experience. It was,
How did they even know this was happening,
I
going
mean,
down?
we were. I mean, I just went in a room with a girl, and I was in there for a minute. So I guess someone, caught wind or something, and just got everyone to group up outside. I mean, it was definitely weird, but I mean, those are my homies, so it is what it is.
Now, was she a virgin as well, or just you in this equation?
Uh, I'm gonna skip that one for her sake.
Okay. Did she know you were a virgin?
Yeah, she knew I was a virgin, so that probably answers the last question.
Was this spontaneous or this was premeditated? You knew you were going to lose it that night.
I don't think I knew I was gonna lose it, but I mean, we were dating, and so it's that kind of thing. It's gonna happen one time or another. So it's just crazy. I still remember it. I
Did you use protection or no?
think so. I think so. It's still 2 minutes. That's it.
Had either of you gotten tested for STIs or STDs back then prior to
uh,
losing your virginity?
no, I mean I hadn't. I don't know about her, but I definitely hadn't. I mean I didn't have anything. I was clean.
Overall, was it a good or bad experience for you? Your very first time.
It was great.
And the reason why I ask that is because sometimes when people dream about this or think about this or foresee their first experience of sex, you know, sometimes things don't go according to plan. And sometimes they do. So just curious how it was for you in your instance.
I can't say that it was like how I guess you imagine it, like a movie scene or something, but I mean, it felt crazy. It felt like nothing I'd ever felt before, I'll tell you that much.
Now, were your parents open about this stuff? The birds and the bees back then?
No, I have older parents, so I mean, it was just kind of like I knew, and like I had older siblings, so I wasn't oblivious, and we had sex ed in high school and stuff like that. But I mean, I never sat down with my parents and had the talk.
Was your family religious at all?
Yeah, yeah. We were really religious growing up. I was in church from since I can remember. So
What religion was it?
we're Southern Baptist, so Christians.
Were they the type of parents that believed in sex after marriage?
Mm, I mean, I guess to me, yeah, like they wanted me to think that. I don't know how their stances on it like are on it themselves, but for anything that I knew, like yeah, I was supposed to wait.
Now, she was your girlfriend at the time. Were you guys high school sweethearts?
Man, I wish she's about to do some big things. She's bad, but maybe I'll get her back from this interview. I don't know. We'll see.
Uh, why'd you guys break up? Why'd things end?
I don't even remember, but all I remember is it's just like your first love and you break up and I was just like torn to pieces afterwards. So I don't know. It was so long ago. I don't remember the exact reason why though.
Do you remember if she broke up with you, you broke up with her, it was mutual at the time?
I think it was kind of like a little back and forth. You know how you break up for a couple weeks. It's never just like a we're done right here right now.
If you could turn back the hands of time, would you have done anything different in this scenario? When you lost your virginity, who you lost it to, things of that nature?
No, no way. I am who I am.
Did you attend homecoming or prom before you graduated?
Yeah, I went to prom with the same girl that junior year, and then me and my homies just got a little. Since Savannah's right on the coast, we all get beach houses every year for prom. So senior year, we all decided to skip out on paying for going to the prom, and we just got the beach house and turns up.
When you did attend prom, did they play your music at all?
No, no, they didn't. They played like Cupid Shuffle.
Did you try to get your song played or a song played back then, or
At that point, like rap wasn't even, in the fort. Like I was a school rapper, but I wasn't like trying to be a rapper yet. It was just more so a hobby than like a passion.
when it came to superlatives, did you ever win any of those before you graduated high school?
Yeah, so I won Most Likely to Be Famous with my boy Boomer 3017. They split the award up. There was two of us, two dudes, actually three. There was a kid who was a crazy coder. So he got thrown in there too, and then a girl. I don't remember who she was though.
And how'd you win that? Do you remember?
I guess from the rap, and I guess it was a bigger deal than I remember, if that makes sense. Like I guess I didn't think of it as anything crazy because I'm naturally outgoing. Like I said, you know, I guess word got around and people just thought I was gonna be famous.
Now, when it came to winning that, was it something you nominate yourself for, you get nominated for?
The whole senior class votes on that, so it's a collective group.
You ask people to vote for you, or
No, I mean I just was chilling. I just let it happen. I didn't really. I mean, it was just a superlative, but it was kind of cool to win that one.
you do graduate high school, and then you attend UGA.
Mm-hmm. Go dogs.
Did you take a break after high school before UGA, or right after high school, it was off to UGA?
Right after high school, had that summer, and got to see the boys, and luckily a bunch of my best friends went up there to UGA with me, so we just went straight up there and moved right in the dorms. And that was the best period. I mean, that's a crazy feeling going from a small town outside Savannah to Athens, and it's an awesome feeling.
How'd you get into that school?
I mean, I guess I'm pretty smart. I don't like to toot my own horn in that sense. But I mean, I did well on all the standardized tests like SAT, ACT. I can write, so I just did well enough to get in there.
Do you remember your ACT or SAT scores?
Scored like a 31 on the ACT and like a 1800 on the SAT, which I guess is pretty good.
Now, UGA, that's a public school or private?
That's public.
You live on campus or off campus?
The first year, everybody's got to live on campus, so I lived in literally a shoebox. I mean, probably like 15 feet long by about 10 feet across with my best friend. So we got to live in there together. And then after that, we got to move out. So then I lived off campus. I lived downtown after that.
Any other description of what student housing was like other than the shoebox?
I mean, it's bunk beds. There's some built-in desks. I mean, it's quite literally like almost a jail cell, but I mean, it's the funnest little cell you'll ever be in. And the outside the room aspect, I mean, you're in a high rise, and I was on the only co-ed floor in all the high rises. I think there's like 3 or 4 high rises they got, and I was on the only co-ed floor, which I mean didn't result in anything for me, but it was cool to have that experience.
Care to share the name of the building you were in?
Creswell Hall.
And give me a review on that.
5 out of 5 stars, baby. If you go into UGA, you go live in Creswell. I'll tell you that right now.
You were randomly picked for that?
You get to apply for like a couple different ones, and that's just the one that we ended up picking. The high rises, you get to meet a lot more people.
Same thing with your best friend. Was that random or
You get to pick who you live with. You can either pick people or go into like a little pool, and we just decided, let's live together. Why not? And we just put all the same preferences down for our buildings.
and he was your only roommate?
Yeah, it's just 2 of us in the rooms.
Was that your first time in a roommate situation?
Yeah, it was.
What was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, we did pretty much everything together. Like if one of us was walking through campus, we were pretty much together. So like the people know us as like a duo, sort of.
Did being roommates with your best friend strengthen your bond or you grow farther apart?
Oh, I know some people it makes you grow apart, but I mean like it made us way closer. I mean we were already pretty close, but it definitely strengthened it. I ended up living with him throughout college, so like I think sophomore year we lived apart, and then the next 3 years we lived together.
And when you guys did live together off campus, was he your only roommate as well, or you had other roommates at that point?
So the one year we didn't live together, he lived in we are in the same fraternity too, so that actually helped. And he lived in the fraternity house. My dad didn't want me living in there, so I got my own apartment. And then the next 3 years we had other roommates. One year we had 3 other roommates. Then the next 2 years we had 2 other roommates.
Roommates you knew, or they were randos?
The junior year, so my third year, we knew him. Then senior year we knew him, and then my 5th year, I had to take a little extra lap. We lived with 2 girls who one of them we knew and the other one I didn't know as well, but they're some dope chicks.
Why the extra year there?
I ended up, well, sometimes you get a little behind. You fail a couple classes. So, I mean, sometimes the party gets the best of you, but, and the extra football season. So that's always good to see the dogs play.
When you did live off campus, this was apartment or house?
It was all apartments. I lived downtown Athens all 4 years outside the dorms.
You preferred off campus living compared to on campus living?
Um, I, the on campus, I'm not gonna say I definitely did prefer it. You get a lot more freedom. It's your own crib, but I mean, like the on campus is just like an experience like no other. I mean, you're meeting kids left and right, making those connections. Like I know I still talk to a lot of kids from the dorm. So there's pros and cons to both.
Was your father right or wrong to not have you frat house living?
Uh, he was right, but it still didn't turn out how he wanted. So stuff happens. So I guess he was right, but I had my fun.
Now, financially, how'd you afford UGA?
Uh, Shout out Zell Miller. Shout out the Hope program. Shout out all them scholarships because they're the main reason I afforded any of that. I mean, my parents helped me too with the school part. They always made sure, if I was going to school, that was going to be taken care of, which was really awesome of them. They didn't necessarily have like racks to throw at it, but it's cool of them that they did that. They always wanted me to go. So, but any other money that wasn't involved with school, I had to make it myself.
What percentage, if we had a pie chart, do you think was, you know, parents chipping in or you chipping in personally or some kind of chipping in versus scholarship, grants, things of that nature?
I mean, the scholarships take probably about like anywhere from 50 to like 70%. And then, I mean, I think my average tuition was about like 4 or 5 bands a semester. So, I mean, I used student loans too. So they didn't really have to pay everything up front, just some housing costs sometimes. So it wasn't as much of them chipping in as much as like the government helping me out. Shout out the government, I guess. Kind of.
Now, and this was the U.S. government.
And I guess the Georgia state government. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the government, but I enjoy them loans.
So it was both or was one or the other?
I mean, I got like I don't know how it works exactly. I got scholarship money and then I took out loans, which I guess the scholarships are state and then the loans are federal.
Now, before you attended UGA, what was their reputation?
Best party school in the United States. At least one of them, top 5.
Was it true?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Them dogs know how to get down.
Now, let's get a review of UGA for a sec. What did you like the most about that school, if anything?
Mm,
Favorite characteristic about that school, UGA?
I would say like the downtown scene's crazy. I mean, it's just packed out, and especially before COVID, like that. I mean, you go out and there's no telling what you're about to get into. So the people there are really cool, and that city of Athens is a really cool town. A lot of small artists, a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things, get into a lot of different scenes. So I'd say that's probably like the people in the town. You know, it's just a great spot.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, what did you like the least about UGA, if anything?
The classes, I hated going to class. I would probably skip just about any class I could. If they didn't require me to go, I wasn't going.
Overall, what did you think about the school? Give me a review just on the school itself.
On the school,
Yeah.
I mean, 5 out of 5. I mean, I wouldn't do it any other way and wouldn't go anywhere else.
What'd you think of the campus?
Campus is beautiful. If you've never been, you need to go walk around. Go into Sanford. If you go see the football stadium, you'll see what the hype's about.
What'd you think of the staff, the faculty,
Mm,
the
they were
professors?
they were pretty all right. I mean, there's always going to be some tough ones who are on their soapbox preaching about whatever they want to preach about and being tough for no reason. But I mean, overall, like I had a good experience with my teachers and stuff all through the way. My advisors, all them, they were pretty cool.
You did join a frat.
Hmm.
Care to share which?
Kappa Sig.
And why that one?
Really, I mean, me and my best friend, we get to campus, we didn't even know what like Greek life really was. We just walked by the main student center and we saw a table that said sign up for Rush, and we walked up to them and said, when is it, when does this start, like what is this? And they said it started like tomorrow. So we just signed up and we ended up just joining Kappa Sig. Just, I mean, a couple guys made a good impression and we were like, fuck it.
Now, when it comes to UGA, anything else you want to mention about it, or a question I didn't ask people want to know? Maybe somebody watching this is considering UGA. I don't know.
All I know is if you're considering UGA, do it. We gonna win that natty. It's gonna be our year. You just wait on it.
You did music all throughout your college years?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't as heavy into it freshman year, but I still found time to record sometimes.
People knew you rapped. This was public.
Yeah, this was public.
Did you gain any sort of fan base while you were on campus?
I would say just at the start of the school, it would be mostly like the people I came in contact with, the homies. But as it started going and going, I started growing, a bigger fan base outside of just the homies. So it started to blossom.
Now, when it came to graduating from UGA, who or what motivated you to finish? Because some drop out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times I could have just stopped, but at the end of the day, my dad, he really motivated me to get out of there and finish up. I had to do it for him. So he always wanted me to graduate from school because he never did. So it's just like one of those things you hear a lot, like, I did without, so I want you to do with. So it's very cool of him.
Now, refresh my memory. What was the major you chose?
Financial planning, financial advising, whatever you want to call it.
Did you choose the right major looking back?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I took it because it was the only business major that you didn't have to take accounting too. So that's why I chose that one. I hated accounting.
When it came to choosing the major before you even attended UGA, did you know what you wanted to major in? Did you have a plan?
My original major was finance, and the only difference was you didn't have to take accounting too for financial planning. But I thought finance was going to be like what financial planning was, because I like to help people, and my parents are really big on financial literacy, kind of stuff like that. So it just kind of ended up working out, kind of like God's plan, because finance is so boring. It's just pencil pushing for corporations. Like, I ain't trying to do that.
When it came to choosing this major, uh, obviously you went the music route,
Hmm.
but what was the plan? You get this major, what did you intend on being or doing or?
I really just wanted to finish school. Like, there wasn't really any plan after that. After about sophomore year, my second year, I just knew I was going to do music, but I just had to finish school.
Were there any thoughts on a master's degree?
Yeah, there were a couple thoughts, and then I saw what all you had to do to get it, and I was like, nah, too much work.
The bachelor's degree, though, easy or hard to complete, looking back at how everything played out?
I would say pretty easy. I mean, there was difficult times. There's hard classes. It's not a piece of cake, but I mean, you just got to do the work.
What was your GPA?
3.1 something. I wasn't too bad. I wasn't too shabby.
When it came to graduation, you walked?
No, COVID. So we ain't have no graduation. We didn't have anything like that. So that's like the main, I guess, bad side about my college experience was my graduation was on a PowerPoint. And they didn't even say our name. It just flashed up on the screen like, boop. All right, I graduated. So,
Now, because of COVID, did you have to do any of your classes virtually, digitally?
yeah, I did most of my last semester, my fifth year, online, which actually was pretty straight. I mean, it's a lot easier online. So, and just, I mean, I hated going to class anyway, so it worked out for me.
Now, I know you didn't get a chance to walk, but you did eventually get that
Hmm.
piece of paper, that degree.
Yep, it's still sitting in my house waiting to go in a frame. So, thanks for reminding me to do that.
What was that feeling like, though, honestly, when you get that piece of paper?
it's it's just like a relief. It's kind of it's kind of bittersweet because you're like, man, I finally did it, and then you look at it and it's just a piece of paper. But I mean, you know, you do it for all the experiences and stuff. It's more than just a piece of paper. It's a part of my life that I'll always look back at and remember and cherish. So it's cool.
Were you the first in your immediate family to graduate college?
My one of my older brothers did. He actually graduated from seminary. He's a pastor. So I think he graduated from school, but not too far ahead of me. So
Does UGA help with job placement after you graduate?
yeah, it does. It does help, but I'm in a little sticky situation when it comes to being employed. So it helps me get interviews and people to look at me, but you know I hate background checks.
Have you had a chance to use that degree yet in the workforce?
No. I've gotten a few job offers from some financial planning firms, but I'm really focused on the music right now. I don't see myself doing anything else other than being in music and entertainment. I could do it, and I might do it, but I don't know. We'll see.
How soon, how serious, how soon was music taken seriously after graduating?
I would say I started taking it serious before I graduated.
Okay.
Um, I kind of knew About the time I met my boy Boomer. He ended up moving in with me, and he really got me. He could produce and stuff. I never could produce, like not produce beats, but like mix and master. And I could never really do that as well. And but I could rap, and he really just like drilled it into me, like, bro, you got to get serious with this. Like, you got the sauce. And I was like, kind of not taking it serious. And then one day it just kind of clicked, like, bro, I got to do this. So
This clicking feeling, was this your 5th year in college? Was this your 4th year in college?
I would say it's probably my sophomore, like junior year.
Oh,
It was early on, but just because it clicks doesn't mean that like I'm at that level to where I should be taken seriously. I guess like I was still figuring it out. It took me a while to find my sound, but I mean you got to go through that. You got to put them hours in. You got to lock yourself in the house. You got to do all that, and like that's what I started doing. I remember that sophomore year I spent my birthday inside. I didn't want to go out. I just wanted to record. So that's what we did for like the whole weekend. We just sat inside and just recorded all weekend.
how'd you and Boomer meet?
We went to school since South Effingham, and so we're kind of like partners. We're not like a duo, but we're partners. And we've just known each other since probably like kindergarten, first grade. And I mean, we were always in classes together going through high school. We kind of shared some of the same interests. He was in band, I was in chorus, and we started to do a play together, but we realized that the play was about to be super whack, so we quit. So that was probably like our first like hard bonding moment, was quitting that play together. And then he just hit me up about sophomore year, or going into sophomore year that summer. So after my freshman year, and we linked up, did a song, and I was like, bro, you got to move in with me. Like, you got to come up here, and we got to get something cooking. And after that, he started drilling it into me that I got to do the rap. So it just ended up working out for the better for the both of us.
And for transparency, he is in the room that we're interviewing in.
Yeah, he is.
Now, do you remember how you first met him exactly? The very first time you met him. Do you remember that at all?
I don't remember like the first time. I mean, it was like first grade, like on the playground or something. I think we might have had a class together or something. But we were always, our names both start with B's. So we're always close together in line whenever we were in classes together going through elementary school. So that's probably the first time I remember meeting him. It was like being in those lines, like lining up for roll or, to go to wherever they line you up in elementary school. So
Now, I want to wrap up the UGA questions that I have here, but what's the biggest lesson? And okay, you may have answered this throughout the interview.
mm-hmm.
If you've answered it already, you don't have to answer it. If you'd like to provide an additional answer, you can. Or if you feel like you haven't answered it and you'd like to provide an answer, of course you can as well.
Word.
But what's the biggest lesson you learned from the college experience?
That's a great question. The biggest lesson, I'll say, like, the biggest lesson is your network is your net worth. I'm going to say that again for all y'all at home listening. Your network is your net worth. More people you know, that's just the more opportunities you get. That's the more chances you get to get anywhere. And, you don't ever make it. I guess it is different with the internet. But, I mean, still, you got to network with people on the internet. You always got to network. And that's really what college was. It's just learning how to network. You got to do class and stuff, but your network's your net worth.
Is college a waste?
No. Is it way too expensive? Hell yeah. But is it a waste? Nah. Like I said, that like meeting those people, seeing all them girls, like that's worth it for sure.
Do you feel hustled or finessed in any sort of way with college?
With how much they charge, yeah, a little bit, but I mean, no. I had a great time, so like I honestly I can't say I feel finessed, like not really.
If you could turn back the hands of time, would you have done anything different with the college experience? Would you have done anything different, with the college experience?
I can't say I would. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that, as I go, I live and I learn, and I wear that stuff on my sleeve. So any lessons I learn, any hard lessons I learn, it's just a thing. It's how it goes. So I wouldn't change anything. I think that about a lot in my life. There's not too much I would change about anything.